you don't just get over stuff, you live through them if you're really going to learn anything from them. So
welcome to the Spartan Up Podcast with Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Race.
We are talking about overcoming obstacles. The same way we teach people to get over obstacles on the course, we will teach you here on the Spartan Up Podcast to get over obstacles in your mind.
USANA is the official nutritional partner of Spartan and prides itself on providing its high-quality nutritional products to elite and professional athletes around the world. From its award-winning supplements to athletic endorsements, USANA has proven for over 30 years why it's a company you can trust. Shop its products at USANA.com.
Joe Sena here, CEO and founder of Spartan and the Spartan Up Podcast, where we rip people off the couch. We turn them into hunters and gatherers, and we just get them going in life. We got a really special one for you today. Dr. Gladys McGarey is over 100 years old. She's a machine. I mean, I've been talking to her here for a few minutes. I am so impressed at what is possible at over 100 years old. We all need to live over 100 years old. There's no reason that we have to leave this earth before we're centurions. Is that the proper pronunciation, a centurion?
yeah, it's just a number.
Just a number.
With two zeros behind it.
Doc, when did you become a doctor? What year? Do you remember?
1946.
1946. Were there many women at that time becoming doctors?
Well, I graduated from Women's Medical College in Philadelphia, which was the only medical school in the country. The other medical schools had maybe 10 women in it, but that was all. So, we were scarce.
You were scarce. And how did you take that leap and like push that boundary? Like, what were your parents pushing? Were they doctors?
My parents were both osteopaths and missionaries in India. So I grew up in India and knew it when I was 2 years old that I was a doctor. So, I just had to get through medical school. That's all.
So you were born in the 20s. When were you born?
1920.
1920. Went through a little bit of the Depression.
Oh, yes. We came to the United States just during the Depression. And it was,
Was it tough?
Oh, well, it was life. And when you're living it and living through it and all of that, you do that. And it was tough. But lots of things in life are tough.
And you went through a couple of wars.
Yeah.
You went through some serious stuff that people that complain about their coffee not being the right temperature or the Wi-Fi not working, do you laugh at them?
No, I don't, because I have the same kind of stuff happen to me and I don't like it either.
But even after all those tough times, I would think that you're pretty damn tough. You don't complain about a lot of stuff.
Well, no, they just have, it's life. I say life gets in the way of doing some of the things I want to do sometimes, but it's life and you don't just get over stuff, you live through them if you're really going to learn anything from them. So that's part of my philosophy. What that teach me?
You live through it. I like it. So, all right, what are some of the things for everybody that's listening or watching and wants to live to 100 years old, wants to have the optimal life? What does a day look like? What should we do when we wake up in the morning?
Well, I wake up and say my prayers, and then I eat a bowl of raisin bran and prunes. And then I get going on whatever it is that's there that day to do. And sometimes it's laundry, sometimes it's talking to people and having the opportunity to speak people like you. I'm in awe of this. And, life is amazing. I keep saying it's a wow. It's exciting and it keeps on. And I learn something new every day.
Is that the trick?
It's part of it because I'm looking for it. But you have to be looking. If you're stuck in a spot, and that happens to us, all of us at different times. If you're stuck and you're not looking for the light, you're stuck. You're just looking at the darkness. You don't find the light. You find the light by looking for it. And oh yeah, sometimes it's a song. Sometimes it's something you read. Sometimes it's something that you do and it awakens you to it. Just something there, because the sun always comes up. We can depend on that and wipes out the darkness for us. But if we keep looking back into the darkness, we don't see it.
So let's start recapping as we go through some of your experiences. So number one, we should wake up and pray. I like that. Number two, prunes. You like prunes. I think that's a good idea. What about water? You drink a lot of water?
I also have problems, other problems, so I have to watch that a little bit.
Understood. But when you think back in life, we can't argue water is good for you.
No, in Arizona, without water, it wouldn't exist. And we people in Arizona really, really need to keep our bodies hydrated.
Yeah. And then we have to look for the light every day.
Yep. And help other people look for the light. I kind of like to think it's sort of like having a flashlight, and I'm walking along my path, but then there's somebody else who's walking along their path, and their flashlight is kind of dim. They're having trouble with finding their path. If I see that and could look over and add my light to their flashlight, that helps them get another step and get farther into the light. So it's important to use our light, but to use it not just for ourselves, but to watch and see what else we can do to help the others around us who are sometimes stuck or sometimes just need a friendly word or a smile or a song or something, to help them get that light shining on their path.
I love that. So share the light, help others find their path. Now you're about midway through your day. Now what?
Well, I always take a nap. I have taken a nap for years. In the afternoon, I take a nap. It's sometimes an hour nap, sometimes a 2 hour. But it's important for me to break the day and take a nap. And in the meantime, you walk with my walker and try to get in. My objective is to get in 3,800 steps a day. I started out at 1,500, and now I've increased. I'll increase it gradually as I feel like I can. And I bought my 102nd. I'm 102. So this last birthday, I bought myself a tricycle, and I can ride that around in my yard here when I feel like it in the afternoon.
I like that a lot. You're riding a bike, you're walking at over 100 years old. Most people are not walking that much, and they're 40 years old. They're so used to taking elevators and escalators and sitting and watching Netflix. I think it's a big problem. You must agree.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's a temptation not to walk. But for me, it's a necessity. I need to keep moving.
We have to move blood around.
We need to move our lives. our lives can get actually stuck. And if we don't move our bodies, poor life is just kind of there saying, what are you going to do about this? So it's a matter of moving our bodies, moving our thoughts, not getting so that we don't, it's kind of interesting. As physicians, we often tell patients that whatever the process, you need to go home and rest. But that doesn't mean you go home and do nothing. Resting is something that you're doing. And if you can understand that that's an important thing to do, to get your rest and work your day around that, you're not just putting yourself in limbo when you lie down to take a rest. You're doing something.
I like that. What about friends? Do we need to have friends? Is that important?
We all need each other. We all need each other. There's always somebody around who can, that you can reach out to and help. For Mother's Day yesterday, had the best Mother's Day. My daughter and my grandson's wife and I watched our 2-year-old Taylor Rose I had created a corner in my living room that I called Taylorville, and I have baby dolls and bed and all. And we watched her, this 2-year-old, sit there and sing to the babies and dolls and so on. I mean, we were all 4 of us in heaven. It was just the most wonderful Mother's Day. I call that corner of my living room Taylorville.
USANA is the official nutritional partner of Spartan and prides itself on providing its high-quality nutritional products to elite and professional athletes around the world. From its award-winning supplements to athletic endorsements, USANA has proven for over 30 years why it's a company you can trust. Shop its products at USANA.com.
I love that. So how many generations were around you yesterday?
4? No. 3.
We have your kid. We have your kids. We have your grandkids. Your great grandkids.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Life is amazing.
And so what related to food? The medical profession, I'm told, doesn't really dive much into diet. What do you recommend for folks, since you are one of the greats that have lasted over 100 years? On this fantastic planet? What food do you recommend besides prunes?
Find out what works for you. Because, some things that are really good for some people really don't work for other people. Either they don't like the taste or their belly doesn't like it or whatever. But if you think that you have to have a specific diet that is somebody's idea of what is great and the best diet, I think that's very interesting. I think it's interesting to look into, but check it out and see how it works for you, because each one of us have our own place. When I was in medical school, nothing was taught about diet except about if you have an ulcer or something like that, a diet related to a specific disease. But nothing was taught about the general diet the person can eat that keeps them healthy, but also is what they want to eat. Some people like pears, other people like apples. And it's not, I don't prescribe a diet for anybody unless I know them well enough as a patient that I can do so. But it's not something that everybody, I grew up in India. I love chilies. I mean, real hot Indian food suits me fine, but not for my kids and not for most of my patients. I mean, I would not prescribe that for my patients unless they're Indian.
I like that. Find the food that works for you.
Absolutely.
As
And
long
then,
as it's not all sugar though.
no, and then enjoy it, you know. Well, it depends on the kind of sugar. If your sugar is fruit, God bless you.
How about eating late at night?
Well, I don't think that's a particularly good idea for most of us to go to bed with a full stomach. However, there are some people whose metabolism requires that, and they need to pay attention to that they need to do what their body tells them. You know, our bodies are our teacher, and we've forgotten that we need to listen to and pay attention to our bodies. One of my secrets is everything is a teacher. We need to, what we're living as, the things that we think, the things that we do, all of these, the troubles that we have, the joys that we have, all of these things feed our soul and teach us.
But you have to be tuned in and pay attention.
Yeah, they can pass you by.
Do you know, I have to introduce you to Jack LaLanne's wife. Do you know her?
Yeah, I'm old enough to know that name really well.
Yeah, she's a buddy of mine. I'm going to connect you guys. I think you'll get along really well.
How old is she?
I don't want to get in trouble, but
Oh, well,
she's got to be over 90.
All right. Anyway, yeah, of course she would have to be.
Yeah.
No, we used to, Jack LaLanne brought a lot of things, good things into our lives in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that connection. If you had to choose one thing that was more important than anything else for health and longevity, what would it be?
The thing that's most important in all of medicine, in all of life, is love. It's the most essential. You can do almost any modality, medical modality, if it's done with love and listening to what the patient says and does and understand that, you'll get healing that's amazing. My eldest son is a retired a retired orthopedic surgeon. And when he came to Phoenix, he was ready to go into Del Rio, Texas, and start his practice. But he said to me, Mom, I'm going out into the world. I'm going to have people's lives in my hands. I don't know if I can handle that. And I said, well, Carl, if you think you're the one who does the healing, you have nothing to be, you have something to be afraid of. But if you can understand that it's your job to do this amazing work, which is called orthopedic surgery, if you can do that to the best of your ability and then support the patient as they do their own healing, because within each one of us is that physician that knows what needs to be done. And as physicians on the outside, I think it's very, very important for us to have the colleague of a physician within each patient, that we can communicate with that aspect of the patient, and then the healing is connected with love and amazing things happen.
I love that. Doctor, do you believe in blue zones?
Well, I've never talked about them as such, but explain them to me. I learn something new every day. What's a blue zone?
So blue zone is areas of the world where people tend to live over 100 years old.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know about those. I never named them that way, but yeah, well, they expect to live longer, and we have forgotten that. So it's a matter of your, well, how your life fits into your life where you're living it.
Well, there are certain lifestyles
Absolutely.
that probably promote health and wellness
Sure.
more than others.
Absolutely. If you sit in front of a computer for 8 hours every day, you're going to have a little trouble unless you can incorporate some other ways of moving your body and moving your life so that you can include the very actual movement of life into your life.
Movement is the key.
Absolutely. If not, you get stuck. We have to keep moving. And it doesn't have to be big things. Sometimes there are people who just doodle, while they're talking. Oh, so doodle, but allow yourself and your body and your mind to keep moving. And your spirit. Now, we started the American Holistic Medical Association because in the 50s, we realized that medicine that we were taught knew a lot about the body and knew something about the mind, but the spirit was completely not even addressed. And so we started the American Holistic Medical Association, but it took us 2 years to understand how we needed to spell holistic. We finally got it, that the word that we were looking for was health, healing, and holy. And when we could weave the spirit of the life force in with the other healing that we had, that was holistic medicine.
I love it.
And now I'm calling it living medicine.
Living medicine.
Mental clarity is something that is a very difficult thing to generalize on, because what happened, I think that most of us, if we have a purpose and we have a mission and we recognize that we have a purpose this lifetime, and it's like the big jigsaw puzzle of the world, where we just have our own puzzle piece. And if we don't do our puzzle piece properly, or, in order, the whole thing won't be right. So it's accepting our position in this and then doing the best we can to take it step by step by step, and not blame ourselves if we don't do it very well, or if we have defects and so on, but accept what we have as a lesson and move forward with that. I think that we can deal with some of we all have our problems with forgetfulness, and that's, and I forget things a lot, but if you try to remember and pull up memories from what I call memory lane and watch your dreams and do some work like that, I think we can do a lot to help ourselves with the mental confusion. But when we get stuck in the dark places, it's very hard.
We need those flashlights.
Yes, we need them for each other. We need them for ourselves.
I'm going to get Duracell to be your sponsor.
What a lovely idea.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
We could have a doctor flashlight so we could shine the lights. Well, thank you, Doc. People that want to find you, go to GladysMcGarey.com.
Right.
Yes?
Right.
The over 100-year-old doctor, born in 1920. She's seen it all. She said, we got to pray. We got to eat prunes. We got to take a nap. We got to shine light for others. Don't just worry about ourselves. Get to bed early. Not too much TV. Hydrate. Right?
Just natural things that are so, they're so understandable.
Find a purpose. Everybody needs a purpose.
We need a purpose.
I love it, Doc.
USANA is the official nutritional partner of Spartan and prides itself on providing its high-quality nutritional products to elite and professional athletes around the world. From its award-winning supplements to athletic endorsements, USANA has proven for over 30 years why it's a company you can trust. Shop its products at USANA.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Spartan Up Podcast.